Imagine this. You're deep in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, the ancient peaks of West Virginia rising like silent guardians around you. The air is thick with mist, and the trees whisper secrets that chill your bones. You take a step forward, then another, desperate to find your way out. But no matter which direction you turn, north, south, east, or west, you always end up back at the same gnarled oak tree, its bark scarred like an old wound. Hanging from one of its twisted branches is a tattered jacket, soaked in fresh blood that drips slowly onto the forest floor. Your heart pounds as panic sets in. Why can't you escape? What's pulling you back? If this sounds like a nightmare you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, stick around. Because today, I'm diving into the Endless Woods, a spine-tingling urban legend reimagined with a twist that will leave you questioning reality itself. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, where we explore the darkest corners of American folklore and turn them into stories that keep you up at night. I'm your host, Jordan Hayes, a content creator with over a decade on YouTube, specializing in horror narratives that blend real legends with heart-pounding fiction. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the chills we deliver weekly. Today, we're tackling a tale inspired by those eerie whispers from the woods, but I've ramped it up for maximum suspense. We'll follow Alex Harper, a thrill-seeking vlogger from Charleston, West Virginia, whose quest for viral fame leads him into a forest from which there's no return. To set the stage, let's talk about why the Appalachians are the perfect backdrop. These mountains aren't just beautiful, they're steeped in mystery. From the Mothman sightings in Point Pleasant to the countless disappearances reported in the Monongahela National Forest, this region has fueled ghost stories for generations. In fact, according to urban legend compilations, places like the Appalachian Trail have seen hikers vanish without a trace, their spirits allegedly trapped by ancient forces. Real-life accounts from Reddit threads describe creepy encounters like unexplained footsteps or whispers in the wind, making you feel like you're never truly alone. And get this, similar tales echo worldwide, such as Japan's Aokigahara Forest, where yurei, restless spirits, supposedly prevent the living from leaving. But today, we're keeping it American, drawing from those haunted woods that trap souls forever. Our story begins with Alex, a 28-year-old adrenaline junkie who's built a modest YouTube following by documenting extreme adventures. Picture him, tall, rugged, with a camera always strapped to his chest, chasing the next big scoop to hit 1 million views. Alex grew up hearing tales from his grandfather about the lost hollows in the Appalachians, valleys where miners vanished in the 1800s, their ghosts still wandering. Skeptical, but intrigued, Alex decides to turn it into content. Folks, today I'm hiking into the heart of West Virginia's forbidden forests, he says in his intro video, grinning at the camera. They say once you enter, you might never leave, but I'm here to debunk that, or prove it. Wish me luck. He packs light, a backpack with water, energy bars, a GPS tracker, and his trusty drone for aerial shots. Joining him initially are 2 friends, Sarah, his tech-savvy girlfriend from college, and Mike, a fellow adventurer who's all about the thrills. They start at the trailhead near Dolly Sods Wilderness, a real spot known for its foggy bogs and disorienting terrain. The group laughs off the warnings from locals. Don't stray off the path. The woods have a mind of their own. As the sun dips low Casting long shadows through the dense canopy of hemlocks and oaks, Alex feels a rush. This is gold for his channel. Atmospheric footage, jump scares from rustling leaves, and maybe a fake ghost sighting for laughs. But as dusk falls, things turn real. The trio sets up camp, sharing stories around a flickering fire. Sarah mentions reading about forest entities in Native American lore, like the Cherokee's Uktina, a horned serpent that guards sacred grounds and ensnares intruders. Mike jokes, "Yeah, or it's just Bigfoot having a bad day." Alex, ever the showman, ventures out alone for some night shots, promising to be back in 20 minutes. That's when the nightmare begins. He wanders deeper, camera rolling, narrating his solo exploration. The path seems straightforward at first, but soon the trees close in, the mist thickens, and his compass spins wildly. "Okay, viewers, this is getting weird," he mutters, his voice tinged with unease. Hours pass. Sarah and Mike search frantically, calling his name into the void. No response. Alex, meanwhile, pushes on, convinced he can find his way. But after what feels like miles, he stumbles upon an ancient oak tree, its trunk massive and twisted. Dangling from a low branch is a blood-stained jacket, fresh crimson stains glistening in the moonlight. "What the hell?" Alex whispers, zooming in with his camera. He backs away, heart racing, and tries a different direction. But loop after loop, he's back at the tree. The jacket seems to mock him, the blood never drying. This is just the start, folks. As we dive deeper, you'll see how Alex's desperation mounts, leading to hallucinations that blur the line between life and death. Stay tuned for part 2, where the adventure truly unravels. If you're hooked already, drop a like and comment your scariest forest story below. And remember, in the woods, not everything that rustles is the wind. As we pick up from where we left off, Alex is already feeling the first pangs of confusion in those endless woods. But to really understand why this tale hits so hard, let's rewind a bit and flesh out who Alex Harper is. Born and raised in the rolling hills of West Virginia, Alex wasn't always the daredevil vlogger we see today. He started as a quiet kid, fascinated by his family's mining history. His great-grandfather was one of those lost souls in the 1920s coal collapses, stories that echoed through family dinners like ghosts at a seance. "The mountains swallow the unwary," his grandma would say, her eyes distant. Alex dismissed it as old wives' tales until college, where he majored in journalism and discovered YouTube as his canvas. Fast forward to now. Alex's channel, Harper's Haunts, has 500,000 subscribers, built on videos like Overnight in Abandoned Asylums and Chasing Cryptids in the Bayou. He's got that all-American charm, short crop brown hair, a winning smile, and a knack for storytelling that keeps viewers glued. But beneath the bravado, there's a drive fueled by personal loss. 2 years ago, his brother died in a hiking accident in these very mountains, slipping off a cliff during a storm. Alex never talks about it on camera, but it haunts him, pushing him to conquer fears through content. "If I can face the unknown, maybe I can make sense of it all," he confided to Sarah once. Sarah Jenkins, his girlfriend of 3 years, is the brains behind the operation. A software engineer from Pittsburgh, she's practical, with sharp wit and a love for gadgets. She handles the editing and tech, ensuring Alex's videos pop with high-quality drone footage and sound effects. Mike Ramirez, the third wheel, is a gym buddy from Charleston. Loud, muscular, and always up for a laugh. He's the comic relief, but deep down, he's got a superstitious streak from his Mexican-American roots, whispering prayers when things get spooky. The trio's preparation for this trip was meticulous, or so they thought. Alex researched extensively, drawing from real urban legends like the Devil's Tramping Ground in North Carolina, where nothing grows in a perfect circle and trespassers feel watched. He even cited reports from the National Park Service about hundreds of unexplained disappearances in American forests each year, often attributed to disorientation or foul play, but whispered to be supernatural. "Guys, this could be our breakout video," Alex said during their planning session at a cozy diner in Elkins, West Virginia. Maps spread out. They marked the trail. Start at Spruce Knob, the highest point in the state. Then descend into the denser valleys known as the Shadowlands by locals. They geared up with the best: satellite phones for emergencies, bear spray, thermal blankets, and Alex's GoPro rigged for 4K. Sarah programmed the GPS with waypoints, while Mike packed extra batteries and snacks. "What if the legends are true?" Sarah asked, half jokingly. "Like that story from Colorado's Riverdale Road, where ghosts of hanged slaves pull you into the trees." Alex laughed it off. "That's why we're going, to separate fact from fiction." The drive to the trailhead was filled with banter, the radio playing old country tunes about lost lovers and haunted hills. As they parked and shouldered their packs, the sun was high, birds chirping innocently. Day 1, entering the endless woods. Alex narrated into his camera. The first few hours were idyllic. Wildflowers blooming, streams babbling, the group snapping selfies and joking about spotting Sasquatch. But as the path narrowed and the canopy blocked the sky, a subtle unease crept in. Leaves crunching underfoot sounded like whispers. "Feel that?" Mike said, "like eyes on us." By late afternoon, they reached a clearing for camp. Tents up, fire crackling, they shared hot dogs and ghost stories. Alex recounted a tale from vocal media about a haunted forest that traps intruders with an ancient entity. Sarah added fuel with Wikipedia's list of urban legends, mentioning trapped souls in wooded areas. Night fell, and Alex's solo venture began. "Just a quick scout for B-roll," he assured them. Camera on, he stepped into the darkness, the beam of his flashlight cutting through fog like a knife. Little did he know, the woods were awakening. As Alex delved deeper, the trees seemed to shift, paths vanishing behind him. His GPS glitched, showing him miles off course. "This can't be right," he muttered, sweat beading despite the chill. He turned back, or so he thought, only to emerge at that ominous oak, the bloodied jacket swaying gently. Panic flickered in his eyes. "Sarah? Mike? This isn't funny?" Back at camp, worry mounted. Sarah paced, phone in hand, no signal. Mike shouted into the night. Hours turned to agony. Meanwhile, Alex's mind raced. Was this a prank? Hypothermia playing tricks? Or something worse? He marked the tree with a knife, vowing to break the cycle. But the forest had other plans. Seamlessly continuing from the growing tension at camp, let's follow Alex as his quick scout turns into a descent into madness. The moon hung low, casting eerie silver light through the branches, turning the Appalachian forest into a labyrinth of shadows. Alex's flashlight beam danced ahead, illuminating twisted roots that looked like grasping hands. "All right, viewers, the night's alive out here," he whispered into the camera, trying to keep his voice steady for the footage. Deep down, a knot formed in his stomach. This felt different from his usual stunts. He pressed on, narrating as he went. Legend has it, these woods are cursed from the coal mining days. Ghosts of workers trapped in collapses, forever wandering. He referenced real stories, like those from Business Insider about creepy urban legends in every state, including West Virginia's own Snarly Yow, a spectral dog that leads hikers astray. But Alex was determined. He climbed a small ridge, hoping for a better view. From the top, the forest stretched endlessly, a sea of dark green under the stars. Beautiful, but intimidating, he admitted. Descending the other side, things escalated. The path he'd followed vanished, swallowed by underbrush. Wait, where's the trail? Alex spun, his breath quickening. He checked his compass. The needle whirled like a possessed top. Pulling out his phone, no bars, no GPS lock. Okay, stay calm, retrace steps. But every turn led to unfamiliar terrain. Hours blurred. Fatigue set in. Then the first sighting. That ancient oak, looming like a sentinel. The jacket hung there, blood dripping in rhythmic plops. This is impossible, Alex gasped, touching the fabric, wet, warm. His knife mark from earlier? Gone. Shaken, he ran in the opposite direction, branches whipping his face. Sarah! Mike! His calls echoed mockingly. Flashbacks hit. His brother's accident. The call from authorities. He slipped. No body recovered. Was this karma? Alex pushed the thought away, focusing on survival. He rationed water, ate a bar, and tried building a signal fire. Sparks flew, but the damp wood smoked weakly. As dawn broke, hope flickered. He'd walk toward the light. But after what felt like miles, the oak reappeared. The jacket's blood seemed fresher, as if replenished. Meanwhile, back at camp, Sarah and Mike were in crisis mode. He's been gone all night, Sarah fretted, her voice cracking. Mike suggested searching in pairs, but Sarah insisted on calling rangers, though signal was spotty. They referenced online forums like Reddit's Appalachian trail threads, where hikers shared tales of time loops and unseen forces pulling people off path. This isn't just lost, it's like the forest doesn't want him found, Mike said. Alex, isolated, began documenting his ordeal. Day 2, or is it? If you're watching this, something's wrong. He described the loop, the tree, the jacket. To heighten drama, he explored the area around the oak, finding old carvings on the bark, symbols resembling Native American warnings, perhaps from the Shawnee tribes who once roamed here, speaking of spirits that bind the dead. Thirst gnawed at him. He drank from a stream, ignoring risks. As the sun climbed, exhaustion brought hallucinations. Shadows moved at the periphery. Whispers urged him deeper. Is someone there? He chased a figure, only to circle back. The jacket now looked familiar, the same brand as his brother's. No, that's crazy. Tension built as he tried climbing the tree for a vantage, slipping and bruising his arm. Blood from the cut mixed with the jacket's stains. This place is alive, he concluded. The high trowel was approaching, but for now, Alex clung to logic. He set traps, strings tied to trees, to detect loops. But they failed. Despair set in as night fell again. I have to get out. For Sarah. For the channel. Little did he know, the woods were just warming up, seamlessly continuing from Alex's growing isolation under the ancient oak. The second night in the endless woods brought a new layer of terror that clawed at his sanity. The moon filtered through the canopy like fractured glass, casting ghostly patterns on the forest floor. Alex slumped against the tree, his body aching from endless walking. his mind fraying at the edges. "This can't be happening," he murmured into his camera, the battery indicator blinking red, a stark reminder that his lifeline to the world was fading. He had marked directions with piled stones, torn strips of clothing as breadcrumbs, even carved arrows into bark. But every effort looped him back. The bloody jacket swayed gently, as if breathing, its stains now resembling crude symbols that twisted in the low light. Desperation fueled innovation. Alex recalled survival tips from his research. Stay put if lost, signal for help. He gathered dry twigs, scarce in the damp woods, and built a larger fire, fanning it until flames licked high. "If Sarah and Mike are out there, they'll see this," he said aloud, his voice hoarse. But the smoke rose lazily, swallowed by the mist. He shouted until his throat burned, "Help!" "Anyone." Echoes bounced back, distorted, almost mocking. Drawing from real Appalachian lore, he thought of the Brown Mountain lights, mysterious orbs that hover near Brown Mountain in North Carolina, said to be the lanterns of lost Cherokee warriors searching for their way home. "If those lights guide souls, maybe they'll guide me," he whispered, scanning the horizon for any glow. None came. As hours dragged, hallucinations crept in. The whispers started subtle, rustling leaves morphing into voices. "Stay, join us," they seemed to say. Alex shook his head, attributing it to dehydration, but they grew clearer, weaving tales of trapped spirits. One voice, gravelly like an old miner's, spoke of the 1920s collapses, where workers were buried alive, their ghosts forever wandering the hollows. "The mountains swallow the unwary," it echoed, mirroring his grandma's warnings. Another, feminine and sorrowful, lamented lost loves from Civil War times, spirits searching eternally. Alex's heart raced. Was this his brother's ghost? The jacket's blood now dripped faster, pooling at his feet. Back at the makeshift command center near the trailhead, now buzzing with rangers Sarah had finally contacted, tension mounted. Sarah paced, her eyes red from crying, while Mike coordinated with volunteers. "He's tough, but these woods, people vanish here," a ranger said, citing national park disappearances akin to the Bennington Triangle in Vermont, where folks evaporated without trace, blamed on otherworldly forces. Drones buzzed overhead, but thick fog thwarted them. Sarah replayed Alex's last uploaded clip. Just a quick scout. Guilt gnawed at her. Why hadn't she gone with him? Alex, unaware of the search, delved deeper into survival mode. He foraged for berries, avoiding poisonous ones from memory, and fashioned a spear from a branch, wary of wildlife. But the real threat was internal. A shadow darted, tall, humanoid, with eyes like coals. "Mothman?" he gasped, recalling the Point Pleasant legend of a winged harbinger foretelling doom, its sightings preceding disasters. He chased it, camera shaking, only to trip and fall back at the oak. The jacket felt warmer, as if pulsing with life. As dawn broke again, Alex's resolve cracked. He sat, tears mixing with dirt, questioning his life choices. This channel? Was it worth it? The whispers intensified, urging surrender, but a spark remained. He'd fight for Sarah, for closure on his brother. Little did he know, the high trowel was building, with revelations that would shatter everything. The forest's grip tightened, pulling Alex toward an inevitable confrontation. Hang on for Part 5, where the hallucinations turn vivid and secrets of the woods unfold. If this is chilling you, comment your thoughts. Picking up right as the third day dawns in the oppressive embrace of the Appalachian depths, Alex's world blurred between reality and nightmare. the line erased by exhaustion and fear. The sun struggled through the fog, painting the woods in sickly yellow hues, but offered no warmth. Alex awoke with a start, the bloodied jacket inches from his face, its metallic scent overwhelming. "Get it together," he muttered, standing on wobbly legs. His water was gone. Thirst clawed his throat like talons. He stumbled to a nearby stream, gulping greedily, ignoring the risk of giardia. Survival trumped caution now. The hallucinations escalated from whispers to full visions. As he wandered, inevitably circling back, a spectral figure materialized. A gaunt miner, coal-dusted and ethereal, pickaxe in hand. "You can't leave, lad. The earth claims its own," it rasped, echoing tales of haunted tunnels where ghosts of deadly collapses roam, like those in West Virginia's deadly mines. Alex recoiled, swinging his spear wildly. The apparition dissolved into mist, but left a chill that seeped into his bones. Next came a woman in tattered 19th century garb, weeping for her soldier love lost in the Civil War, her story mirroring Appalachian hauntings of spirits eternally searching. "Join me in the wait," she pleaded, her hand outstretched, cold as death. These weren't random. They tied to the land's dark history. Alex, in lucid moments, pieced it together via his fading memories of research. The Appalachians, ancient and unforgiving, hold secrets like the moon-eyed people. Pale, subterranean beings from Cherokee lore who shun light and trap intruders. Or Spearfinger, the stone-skinned witch who lures victims with illusions, her finger a deadly blade. "Is that what's happening? Am I bait?" he wondered aloud, filming sporadically to document his descent. Desperation peaked when he discovered carvings on the oak, ancient runes resembling Shawnee warnings against disturbing sacred grounds. Digging at the roots, his hands raw, he unearthed a rusted locket, inside a faded photo of a man resembling his great-grandfather. No, this is personal. The realization hit. The woods weren't random. They targeted those with unfinished business, like his family's mining curse. Meanwhile, the search intensified. Sarah, now at a command post with rangers, pored over maps. "He's in the Shadowlands, known for vanishings," a local expert said, citing cases like hikers on the Appalachian Trail who heard unnatural calls and never returned. Mike led a ground team, shouting Alex's name, but echoes twisted into laughter. Drones captured anomalies, fleeting shadows, unexplained lights akin to the Brown Mountain phenomena. Alex's high trow built as night fell. A pack of shadowy hounds appeared, demon dogs from folklore, guardians of the lost, erasing trails. They circled, eyes glowing, forcing him to climb the oak. From the branches, he saw illusions of his life. Sarah's smile, his brother's fall. "Fight it!" he yelled. The jacket below pulsed, revealing its secret. The blood was his own, from unseen wounds of the soul, flowing directly from Alex's treetop refuge amid the demonic hounds. The fourth day unleashed the story's pivotal twist, shattering his perception of reality. Perched high, wind howling like banshees, Alex clutched the locket, its weight a anchor in chaos. The hounds below snarled, their forms flickering, ghosts of hunting dogs lost in the wild, as per local tales where they hunt not for food, but to claim souls. "This isn't real," he repeated, but doubt crept in. Descending at dawn, the beast vanished, leaving paw prints that faded like smoke. The core revelation struck when he examined the jacket closely. Touching it, a jolt surged through him. Visions flooded. His own body, broken at the tree's base, blood soaking the fabric. I'm dead. The twist crystallized. Alex had died on that first night, slipping in the dark, head striking a root. This endless loop was limbo, his spirit trapped, reliving the denial. The woods, infused with ancient energies, bound unrestful souls, much like the Moonville Tunnel's hauntings where abandoned villages trap the departed. His brother's similar fate now made sense, a family curse of unfinished lives. Hallucinations morphed into confrontations. His brother's ghost appeared, translucent and sorrowful. You ignored the signs, like I did. The mountains demand respect, referencing real disappearances, like those in haunted Appalachia, where young lives end abruptly over trivial pursuits. Alex begged for escape. How do I leave? Accept and atone, the spirit replied, vanishing. Peril escalated as the forest attacked. Vines snaked like Spearfinger's claws, scratching deep. Whispers chanted of cryptids, Bigfoot guardians enforcing the balance. Alex ran, but looped eternally, energy waning. Sarah's side ramped up. Helicopters thrummed, dogs barked, ironically mirroring the demon hounds. She found Alex's dropped camera, footage showing his fall. He's gone, a ranger whispered, but Sarah refused belief. Alex, in spectral form, glimpsed the living world, search parties passing through him. The high trow neared resolution, but first, more trials. Transitioning smoothly from Alex's shattering realization of his own death and the escalating perils of the spectral realm, the fifth day in the endless woods forced him toward a path of atonement, where the forest's ancient guardians demanded reckoning before release. The air grew heavier, charged with an electric hum, as if the mountains themselves breathed judgment. Alex, now fully embracing his ghostly state, wandered with purpose rather than panic. The jacket, once a horrifying mystery, became a talisman, its blood his own, a symbol of unresolved guilt over his brother's death. I should have been there, he confessed to the empty woods, tears evaporating into mist. The whispers evolved, no longer taunting, but guiding. Face the past to break the chain. Atonement began with visions of his life flashing like a broken reel. He relived the argument with his brother, days before the accident. Harsh words about reckless adventures. I'm sorry, Alex pleaded to the apparition that materialized. His brother, whole and forgiving. The woods test the unworthy, the spirit said, echoing folklore of Appalachian judgment grounds, where souls must confront sins, similar to the Devil's Courthouse in North Carolina, a peak where legends say the devil holds court over the damned. Alex vowed change. No more exploiting fears for views. Instead, honoring stories with respect. The forest responded. Paths flickered open briefly. Glimpses of light beyond the canopy, only to close if doubt crept in. He encountered more spirits. A Shawnee warrior, bow in hand, speaking of desecrated lands by miners and modern intruders, drawing from historical accounts of native displacements in the region. Restore balance, it urged. Alex, in his ethereal form, helped by guiding lost animal spirits or whispering apologies to the earth. These acts, symbolic yet profound, weakened the loop. The oak appeared less frequently. Meanwhile, rescue efforts intensified on the living side. Sarah, fueled by determination, led a expanded search with volunteers from Charleston. Helicopters chopped overhead, dropping supplies and scanners. Mike, armed with thermal imaging, trudged through underbrush, calling out. Rangers shared chilling stats. Over 1,000 missing persons in national parks annually, many in Appalachia, with cases like the 411 books detailing bizarre vanishings without trace. A psychic consultant, invited skeptically, sensed trapped energy at the coordinates of Alex's last signal, aligning with paranormal investigations in haunted forests like Hoia Baciu in Romania, but rooted in American soil. Sarah found clues: scratched bark with Alex's initials, a dropped energy bar wrapper. "He's fighting," she told Mike, her voice steady despite fear. Night searches brought eerie encounters. Unexplained lights dancing like will-o'-the-wisps, luring teams astray, reminiscent of folklore where such lights lead to doom or treasure. One volunteer swore he heard whispers, "Let go." Alex's atonement peaked in a confrontation with a colossal entity, the Mountain Keeper, a amalgam of cryptids, part Bigfoot, part Spearfinger, its form shifting. "Why me?" Alex demanded. "For greed," it boomed, citing how vloggers desecrate sacred sites for content, backed by real complaints from environmental groups about tourism damaging Appalachian ecosystems. Alex offered his life, promising to advocate for preservation if freed. The entity paused, the woods stilling. The divide between worlds thinned, setting the stage for climax. Stay tuned for Part 8, where boundaries blur in a final showdown, building directly on Alex's tentative pact with the Mountain Keeper and the thinning veil between realms. The sixth day blurred boundaries entirely, plunging everyone into a shared nightmare where the living and dead collided in a heart-pounding showdown. The forest pulsed with energy, trees groaning like awakening giants, as Alex felt a pull toward the physical world. Visions overlapped. He saw Sarah's search party through spectral eyes, their flashlights piercing his limbo. "I'm here," he shouted, his voice manifesting as a faint echo that rustled leaves, startling the rescuers. Boundaries dissolved further when Sarah, drawn by intuition, reached the ancient oak. Touching its bark, she felt a shock. Visions of Alex's fall flooding her mind. "Alex," she whispered, her hand on the bloodied jacket, which now bore his monogram. This mirrored real paranormal experiences, like those at Gettysburg battlefields where the living glimpse the past, or Appalachian thin places where veils weaken, allowing crossings. Mike, nearby, saw shadows coalesce into figures. The miner, the warrior, whispering warnings. The final showdown erupted as the Mountain Keeper fully manifested. A towering beast of fur, stone, and shadow, eyes blazing like coals. It roared, shaking the ground, demanding Alex's soul as payment for desecration. "The land remembers all wounds," it thundered, referencing historical mining scars that still pollute West Virginia streams, as documented by environmental reports. Alex, bolstered by atonement, stood firm. "I accept my mistakes, but I won't stay trapped." He rallied the spirits, his brother, the miner, for aid, turning the confrontation into a battle of wills. Sarah and Mike, now visible to Alex, joined unwittingly. Sarah's cries pierced the veil. "Fight, Alex! We need you!" Her tech gadget, a EMF meter, spiked wildly, capturing anomalies akin to ghost hunting evidence from shows like Ghost Adventures and Haunted Mines. Mike swung a branch like a club at encroaching shadows, his bravery echoing tales of frontiersmen battling woodland spirits. The Keeper lunged, claws raking ethereal air, but Alex dodged, using the locket as a ward, its family photo glowing. "This ends now," he yelled, channeling regret into force. The entity weakened as Alex forgave himself, the loop fracturing. Cracks of light split the canopy, reality bleeding in. Helicopters thrummed closer, their spotlights banishing shadows. In the explosive climax, the Keeper dissolved into mist, defeated by collective resolve. Alex felt solidity return, his spirit snapping back to his body, hidden under roots where he'd fallen, barely alive from exposure. Rescuers converged, pulling him free. "He's alive!" Sarah sobbed, cradling him. The boundaries sealed, but scars remained. Gear up for Part 9, exploring the immediate aftermath. Following the dramatic dissolution of the Mountain Keeper and Alex's miraculous return to the living, the immediate aftermath unfolded in a whirlwind of relief, revelations, and lingering unease as the group confronted the true nature of their ordeal. Dawn broke over the Appalachians, golden rays piercing the fog like arrows of hope. Alex gasped awake in Sarah's arms, his body battered, dehydrated, bruised, with a gash from his fall, but alive. I was gone," he croaked, eyes wide with the weight of the other side. Rangers swarmed, medics stabilizing him as helicopters airlifted the group to a hospital in Charleston. Revelations poured out in the sterile room. Alex recounted everything: the loop, the spirits, his death, and rebirth. "It wasn't just lost. I died that first night," he explained, the bloodied jacket, now evidence, confirming his tale with DNA matches to his own blood. Sarah nodded, sharing her visions at the Oak, backed by the EMF spikes and footage from drones capturing unexplained orbs similar to documented anomalies in haunted sites like the Bell Witch Cave in Tennessee. Mike admitted seeing shadows, his skepticism shattered. Doctors dismissed it as delirium from hypothermia, but tests showed anomalies. Alex's body temperature impossibly low for survival, echoing cases of miracle rescues in cold cases. News spread, local media dubbing it the Endless Woods Miracle, drawing parallels to survival stories like the Andes crash, but with supernatural twists. The group bonded deeper. Sarah and Alex recommitted, Mike vowing no more risks. Alex's channel exploded, viewers demanding the story. But he hesitated, pondering his promise to the spirits. Lingering effects haunted, whispers in dreams, shadows in mirrors. The Oak, revisited by rangers, bore fresh carvings, warnings for future intruders. Emerging from the chaotic revelations at the ancient Oak, where Alex was pulled back from the brink, the recovery phase began with a mix of medical miracles and profound personal reflections. As the shadows of the endless woods lingered long after the rescue, in the bustling halls of Charleston General Hospital, Alex lay hooked to IVs, monitors beeping a steady rhythm that contrasted the forest's chaotic whispers. Doctors marveled at his survival. 3 days without food or proper shelter, yet minimal organ damage. "It's like he was preserved," one physician noted, unknowingly echoing tales of suspended animation in folklore, such as hibernating spirits in winter-bound Appalachian myths. Sarah stayed by his side, holding his hand, while Mike paced the waiting room, relaying updates to Alex's subscribers who flooded social media with well wishes. Reflections hit hard during quiet nights. Alex stared at the ceiling, replaying the visions, the Mountain Keeper's judgment, his brother's forgiveness. "I exploited the unknown for likes," he confessed to Sarah. "No more." She nodded, sharing her own terror, the visions at the tree that felt like glimpses into purgatory. Drawing from real accounts, she mentioned similar survivor stories, like those from the Dyatlov Pass incident, where unexplained forces left lasting psychological scars, though transposed to American wilderness mysteries. Mike, ever the pragmatist, admitted the shadows he saw changed him. "I felt something ancient, man, like the land's alive." Discharge came after a week, but recovery extended beyond physical healing. Back in their Charleston apartment, Alex pored over the recovered footage, grainy clips of whispers and shadows that experts deemed unexplainable artifacts. Paranormal investigators reached out, citing parallels to the Enfield haunting or local Mothman encounters, where electronics captured ethereal voices. He debated uploading. Would it honor the promise or exploit again? Instead, he journaled, detailing atonement paths, volunteering for trail cleanups, advocating against over-tourism in fragile ecosystems, backed by reports from the Appalachian Trail Conservancy on environmental degradation. Lingering shadows manifested subtly, nightmares of looping paths, whispers in windstorms. Sarah experienced synchronicities, finding feathers resembling Shawnee symbols, prompting research into native spiritual practices for closure. Mike threw himself into fitness, but avoided woods, joking about therapy hikes in safer parks. The trio formed a support group, sharing stories that bonded them like survivors of a war. Media frenzy ensued. Interviews on local news, podcasts dissecting the miracle of the oak. Skeptics called it hallucination from exposure, but believers pointed to drone footage anomalies, orb lights dancing unnaturally, akin to Brown Mountain Lights phenomena. Alex's channel surged to 1 million subs, but he pivoted content, educational videos on respectful exploration, blending horror with history. As weeks turned to months, healing deepened. Alex visited his brother's grave, whispering apologies under rustling leaves, feeling peace. The woods' lesson sank in: respect nature's boundaries or face consequences. Yet doubts lingered. Was the keeper truly gone or watching? As Alex's personal recovery solidified, the broader impacts of his ordeal rippled through communities, sparking debates, inspiring changes, and reshaping lives beyond the trio, while the endless woods became a cautionary legend in modern folklore. News of the Appalachian ghost hiker spread like wildfire across social media, with hashtags like Endless Woods Miracle trending on platforms from TikTok to Reddit. Viewers dissected Alex's pre-trip videos, theorizing supernatural involvement, drawing parallels to viral stories like the Slender Man urban legend that blurred fiction and reality. Local West Virginia tourism saw a spike, curious adventurers flocking to Dolly Sods, prompting rangers to issue warnings about real dangers like disorientation and fog as reported in national park alerts. Community responses varied. Environmental groups praised Alex's pivot, partnering for campaigns on sustainable hiking, citing statistics from the Sierra Club on overuse eroding trails. Native American advocates, including Cherokee descendants, appreciated his nods to indigenous lore, using the story to educate on respecting sacred lands, referencing historical treaties violated in the region. Skeptics on forums like r/unexplained dismissed it as hype, but believers formed online groups sharing similar encounters, whispers in woods, loops in hikes, echoing collective experiences in haunted hotspots. Life changes for the trio were transformative. Alex relaunched Harper's Haunts as Echoes of the Wild, focusing on respectful folklore storytelling. His first post-rescue video, What the Mountains Taught Me, garnered millions of views, blending personal testimony with expert interviews on Appalachian myths like the snarly yow, spectral dog. Sarah quit her corporate job, starting a podcast on tech and paranormal research, using EMF data from the incident to explore anomalies similar to those in Ghost Hunters episodes. Mike, inspired, trained as a wilderness guide, emphasizing safety and lore, teaching classes on avoiding real perils like bear encounters or sudden weather shifts, broader ripples included policy shifts. West Virginia officials enhanced trail signage and GPS requirements, influenced by Alex's case and disappearances stats from Missing 411. Documentaries emerged, one featuring Alex recounting the Keeper, blending CGI with real footage for chilling effect. Personally, Alex and Sarah married in a quiet ceremony overlooking safer hills, vowing adventures with caution. Mike found love with a fellow guide, grounding his life. Yet the woods' influence persisted. Occasional synchronicities, like finding the locket's twin in an antique shop, hinting at unfinished threads. The story evolved into a modern myth, warning of hubris in nature. Culminating the journey from terror to transformation, the final chapter distills life lessons from the endless woods, offering practical applications rooted in reality while cementing the tale's enduring legacy as a beacon for mindful living. At its core, Alex's ordeal teaches humility before nature's power. Lesson 1. Respect boundaries. In daily life, this means setting limits, whether in work, relationships, or adventures, to avoid burnout, much like hikers heeding trail warnings to prevent real tragedies, as emphasized in survival guides from the Boy Scouts. Application. Before pursuing goals, assess risks, journal potential pitfalls, fostering self-awareness. Second, confront unresolved guilt. Alex's atonement mirrors therapy practices, like cognitive behavioral techniques for processing loss, proven effective in studies on grief from the American Psychological Association. Apply it by facing regrets through meditation or counseling, turning pain into growth, as Alex did by advocating for others. Third, value community. The trio's bond highlights support networks' importance, backed by research on social connections reducing stress, per Harvard studies on happiness. In practice, nurture relationships, schedule check-ins with friends, building resilience against life's woods. Fourth, embrace change ethically. Alex's content shift teaches pivoting careers with integrity, avoiding exploitation, relevant in digital age ethics, as discussed in media literacy reports. Application: audit personal brands or habits, align with values for fulfillment. The legacy endures. Alex's story inspires books, films, and ecotourism reforms, blending horror with education. Years later, he returns to the woods, guided tours teaching lore respectfully. Sarah's podcast thrives. Mike's guiding saves lives. The oak stands, a reminder: nature forgives, but never forgets. In closing, the endless woods isn't just a tale. It's a mirror. Heed its lessons. Respect, reflect, connect, evolve. If you followed this far, apply one today. Thanks for joining. May your paths be clear.